What's up, everyone? My name is Jacob Stuber, and welcome back to the Negative Space Podcast. Here in this episode today, my friends, we'll be discussing CCR question number 1, which is, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? My film, Negative Space, challenges and uses genre conventions and tries so desperately to bring issues and social groups into light. And believe me, people, this film definitely tries to bring an issue into light, but we will get into that later in the podcast. And also, just a reminder before I forget, the film comes out June 7th in theaters all across America. So don't miss it. If you miss it, I will never let you live it down. I'm just kidding. It's all jokes. So, jokes aside, without further ado, let's dive in together. Actually, wait, never mind. I lied. I'm sorry. One more reminder. I will be breaking this question up into 2 parts for everyone today, just so that I can convey the info as clear as possible for everyone. Now, I'll be answering the first part of my CCR question pertaining to my film. That part is how my product challenges the conventions of my film's genres. I can start by saying that we can all agree that an audience expects to see conventions in a media product. It is a building block for every film in a way. My film has 2 genres that subvert each other. Those 2 genres are psychological thriller and dark comedy. So my film starts off and maintains a very unsettling vibe from beginning to end, putting the idea in the mind of the viewer that the main character is most likely a serial killer. By the end, the viewer sees my character smiling while eating a cupcake, which we will talk about more towards the end. The psychological thriller conventions can be seen through the main character of my film. The main character of my film experiences different mental states through the change of facial expressions from the beginning to the end of my film. One convention that is very noticeable to the audience is that my character was dressed in all black through the entire film. Many of you listening, I assume, use the color black to symbolize all things negative. Well, throughout history, this somber color has been tied to death and all things evil and bad. The color black evokes strong feelings of anger, aggression, and sadness, which is something my character experiences. A sense of anger and sadness with aggression towards the people he hates, all in one. The room my film was shot in was also a noticeable convention to the viewer as well, and is, in my opinion, one of the most key conventions in my entire film. The room could be seen as very dark, with very little light except the little sunlight that shined through the window and the lonely blue light bulb attached to the ceiling fan. A dark, gloomy room also usually symbolizes all things negative, which is what my character feels throughout my film. That is why my film is called Negative Space. It's about a boy with a negative mindset in a gloomy space. Now, I want to talk about someone whose book I read, which helped me give the idea and influence the storyboard of my film in a big way. That man is named Don DeLillo. Don DeLillo is a man who gave a good input on the individuality of an assassin, which is who my character is characterized as in my film. His book, Libra, which was written about Lee Harvey Oswald, who was the assassin of John F. Kennedy, and took a deep dive into the mind of the backstory of an assassin. He explained in his book that the assassin has a tendency to kill, to not yield, to not follow, to not put up with situations, and to not follow other people's orders. He is a rebel, in a sense. He declares that an assassin usually has a lack of conscience, thinks outside the box, and finds as many methods as possible toward achieving the final outcome. He also says that most of the time an assassin is usually born in a dark room, angry and sad at the people around him and the world, ultimately leading to the death of the people close to him or whatever the gender is by their hands. His input of the assassin Libra aligns perfectly with my character because through my storyline that I made for him, he's characterized as angry and sad to people around him and the world as a whole. This as a result leads him to be shunned out of his social life, which causes him to sit in his dark, gloomy room contemplating life and how he will get back at the people he sees as his enemies, therefore creating his assassin-type personality. Now, I hate to say it and to make everyone sad, but now we are going to be answering the other part of my CCR question. Sorry, I had a brain fart there, everybody. I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry. Please don't track me down and kill me. I promise this next part is worth talking about, so please stay tuned and listening. The next part of my CCR question how does my film represent social groups or issues? That question, ladies and gentlemen, can be answered by none other than Paul Gilroy. Gilroy is this media theorist guy who developed this theory of civilizationism. I suggest reading more about him because his theories are pretty interesting. He was a guy who was interested in where the idea of a certain person came from and what things happened to that person before that led them to their character. If any of you look at stereotypes in general just because you're curious, which we all are, because we're human, remember what I'm about to say. Something or someone clinging onto what was, or a person group conforming to ideas or subverting to the norm, you can always, and I mean always, apply Paul Gilroy's post-colonial theories. An example of an assassin, as we all know, is someone who murders another person. This is an easy definition to put on it, but what some people don't know is that all assassins kill people for 3 different motives, and 3 different motives only. Those motives are monetary gain, which means they were hired or paid to kill someone, loyalty to a cause, which means they will kill for a political or religious cause, and finally, personal motivations, which means they will kill because of their own personal motives. A good example of a personal motivation assassin is Luigi Mangione. Mangione was allegedly motivated by resentment at what he called parasitic health insurance companies. Before he committed these events, he had spent time surfing in a community in Hawaii, but left owing to a debilitating back pain, which is what led him to ultimately kill United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The main character in my movie can be categorized as a personal motivation assassin. His personal motivation is driven by his anger and sadness that was caused by the people around him, and he sees killing those who wronged him as the only way to bring him total satisfaction. When developing my character in my storyboard, I made my character into an assassin mainly to bring the high murder rates in the US into light. As of 2024 till now, homicide rates are the highest in county homes to large cities, where there are an average of 10.5 per 100,000. There have been 4 school shootings in the U.S. so far this year. As of February 7th, there were 2 on college campuses and 2 on K-12 school grounds. The incidents left 1 person dead and at least 5 other victims injured, according to CCN's analysis of events reported by the Gun Violence Archive, Education Week, and Everytown for Gun Safety. Ladies and gentlemen, just keep in mind here, CNN cross-checks these reports of school shootings against school and police accounts and the many media reports covering it. All incidents of gun violence are included if they're on school property. School property includes but is not limited to buildings, fields, parking lots, stadiums, and buses, from kindergartners through colleges, universities, and at least 1 person was shot. Not including the shooter, accidental discharges of firearms are included, as long as 1 person is shot. But if not, the sole shooter is law enforcement or school security. My film does a good job bringing this issue into the light because being that my character is a high school student and wants to kill people due to personal motives, it brings in the idea for any audience that watches my film that people who experience bullying, whether it is in person or cyberbullying, which happens over the internet, have a higher tendency to hurt or kill people as a way to seek revenge over their depression due to bullying. My film aims to get people thinking about a solution to this problem. That particular solution is if we can find a way to limit bullying in general, maybe we could potentially see a drastic decline in the murder rates across the U.S., specifically school shootings. This idea of a solution is what the ending of my film is supposed to portray. My character can be seen eating a cupcake while being happy. His mental state and emotions can be seen to have changed completely from the start of the film to the end. The idea proposed in the end of my film is, why can't everyone just get along and have a cupcake with one another? Because if everyone can do that, think of this, people. That is when we will see a significant decline in the murder rates, and maybe unite the world, the whole world, as one. That is all for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you more when I answer my other CCR questions. Goodbye, everyone.